man, we'll get moving. There he is, the shades and everything. Nicky, what's the crack?
Uh, what's this former presenter? Oh, never former presenter. Oh.
Former for the radio, that's what I meant. But I'm sure that'll
Right.
take off. That'll take off again soon.
How
How's
are you
things?
keeping? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just doing nothing as everybody else is.
Trust you to do this in style, Nicky. No one has done it outside in the sunshine or with sunglasses on.
It's like that song, In the Sunshine, in the Summer. We're off to Italia for the world.
Well, we'll
Anyway.
get to those stories as well. Don't worry. But you have been following them. Obviously, they've gone quite well. Nicky's mainly talking to the football lads, but shaking it up then at the weekends. And obviously, we had Shane on last week yourself. But I know you're mad about football, and you did have a football career before the music. So we're going to discuss that as well, if that's okay.
Listen, I've been enjoying all of your Insta lives. I really have, genuinely. I watched Alan Mabry, obviously, my old teammate, and Shane Foylan, Emma Stevens. I missed Andy Lee's, and I know Andy, and I'm a big fan of Andy, so I'll have to watch that one back if I can. But listen, fair play to you. You're doing great, and it's brilliant. It's real insight, football wise as well. So good on you.
No, thanks a million, Nicky. Yeah, they have gone well. It started off as a bit of fun, obviously, with the situation that we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
Trying to occupy themselves. You see the challenges going on, people keeping active. I know you're very active in keeping yourself fit as well, and obviously the kids keeping you going. But just how has lockdown been for you, Nicky?
I think it's been weird. I don't mind being at home, actually, once I know there's something coming down the road. I don't like being at home, let's say before something like this. When Westlife finished, for example, I don't mind having a bit of time off. But once I know there's something coming down the tracks that I'm going to get my teeth stuck into. This is different for everybody. Nobody's been in this situation before. We're lucky we have a garden and we can, kick the ball around, and, we live in Malahide. So that 2K kilometre from where I live is actually okay because Malahide Castle is close by and the beach is close by. So you're in Malahide too, so that actually is a godsend, to be fair, because you can keep fit, or you can go for family walks or go for a cycle. I just wouldn't like this to be the new normal. I think that, and I know it's going to take a long time, even if restrictions are lifted on May 5th. I still think it's going to take a long time for normality to come back. I think people going to matches or going to concerts or I think, and it's weird because humanity we enjoyed that human touch, that hug, that shake hand, that high five, that all of those things. And it doesn't matter if you're working in an office or in football, you back slaps, high fives, hugs when you score. People going to games. I think that's going to take a bit. I'm not, I'm looking at it negatively, but I think it's going to take a long time for people to get that confidence back, and that's weird. It really is weird,
That's the one thing, even from speaking to lads, that has kind of been sticking out from everyone, is the uncertainty around it. And as you says there, if we had a target to aim towards, I think that would probably put people in a better frame of mind. It's going into the unknown every day of the week, and then there's different statements being released, all that kind of stuff. But I know you're a very personable and friendly fella, Nicky, and like that, you like a handshake or a hug or a high five, whatever. Do you think this could be the end of the handshake?
I think it will be for a long time, yeah, I do. I think that will come back. I do eventually, but I just think who would have thought in our day and age? I mean, this is a massive moment in Irish history, Yeah. I mean, I've twin lads who just turned 13 and have a little girl who's 6.5, and we watch the news in the evening, or whether it's RT News or Sky News, or we stick on CNN late at night just to see what's going on around the world. And they'll ask you, what's this? When's this going to end at, or what? And you don't have those answers. And my mom, who's still alive, doesn't have those answers. They're, Georgina's mom and dad, and the boys and G's grandparents don't have that answer. They've not lived through this, so it's new for everybody. So I do think the handshake eventually will come back. I don't think it's going to be something in 100 years' time where people go, "My God, people used to shake hands. How strange is that?" But so I hope it will come back. But I think it's going to be a long time. I genuinely think it's going to be a long time, and like, I don't know, if you skip 8 months, in 8 months' time, like when Christmas hits, pubs, Christmas presents, Merry Christmas. It doesn't matter if you're out with, with your missus or out with the lads having a pint, or when does that come back? It's a strange time for humanity. There's no doubt about that. But you have to stay positive. I do think I think Ireland particularly, we're very good at doing what we're told in the event of something like this. I think we're very good at doing what they've asked us to do,
Yeah, no, and I think they have been doing well, people, in fairness to them, because, as you said, it's a very, very tricky situation. But this is all about positivity, Nicky, and good stories and good crack.
Absolutely.
We're going to move on to that.
Felt like it was on the Sean O'Rourke radio show there for a minute.
No, that's the last you're going to hear of the Sean O'Rourke stuff on this video. Don't worry about that. And I know Sean is retiring, and I'm not looking for his job. You might be, Nicky. I don't know.
No, I'm not doing politics. That's for sure. No chance. But Sean's a good guy, actually. Real funny story. When I was on 2FM for 5 years, we used to finish at 1 o'clock, and Sean's show would finish at that time. And we used to always meet in the toilet, because you'd run down to the Jack, you know the square of the studio, you'd run down the toilet, and me and Sean would meet each other literally at the urinals. How was your show, Sean? All good, Nicky. How was yours?
He's a great fella, Sean. He's very good at what he did as well. But I'm really interested, Nicky, and obviously we have a bit of a connection with the whole Leeds thing. And you obviously went to Leeds as a young fella, like most young Irish kids, to be an aspiring footballer. Before you actually went away, because I know you were playing with Home Farm and Kevin's, was it always soccer as a young fella, or did you play other sports as well?
I played every sport a little bit. Well, I say every sport, a lot of sports a little bit. And I focused then more on the ones that I felt was, I decent, or I enjoyed, I guess. I was never I never played golf a lot when I was younger. And I regret that now, because it's quite frustrating to get into, and some of my mates are excellent golfers. Tennis I played a lot of tennis. I played a lot of table tennis as well. I never played rugby. Played a lot of Gaelic football and soccer, obviously. But I kind of felt, I was always about a ball. So if a ball was there, to be kicked, hit, swung, I enjoyed it, and if I put my mind to it, I got better and better. Like I said, I'm quite competitive, so I always wanted to be better at it, but soccer was the one for me from a very young age, football. I say soccer just to differentiate between Gaelic football, but it was my dad in the back garden, and my first memories would have been, I remember the 1985 FA Cup final when Norman Whiteside scored for United. That would have been my first memory of football. And then the following year, Mexico '86, the World Cup. That was just phenomenal. That was when Maradona's handball and in the same game, probably the best goal ever scored. Although I did see Messi, I was only watching a clip of Messi during the week. He scored a similar goal for Barcelona.
Yeah,
I don't know who it was against.
Getafe. I think it was the 10-year anniversary of that as well, or something. But very similar, and went round the goalkeeper. Did you watch the the Maradona documentary that was on there a couple of weeks ago?
I went to see it actually in the cinema. Amazing. I mean, to me, Maradona was my era. So to me, Maradona was the best ever. Now Messi is the best ever, and I love Ronaldo, but to me, Messi is God. And I couldn't actually, for years I said, no, it's Maradona, it's Maradona, it's Maradona. Now I don't know. The thing that Maradona has over Messi is that he won the World Cup, and he won the World Cup single-handedly. Will Messi get to do that? I'm not sure he will now,
Yeah, I'm all Messi as well, and I don't want to veer off. But on the documentary as well, the thing that made me maybe, because I'm all about Messi now, but the thing that made me maybe go back to Maradona after watching the documentary was to do what he did whilst having the lifestyle that he had, Nicky, as well.
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely. And when you watch the movie, it's amazing. It's a real sad story, actually, because he's got so much talent, but when you and if you when you watch the movie and you realize how much pressure he was under and how much people were controlling his life, it was phenomenal, and it's a little bit like, like a, I don't know, world famous superstar singer from a young age. I mean, there's no normality, from a kid, like a child star, there's no normality whatsoever. And I actually feel sorry for Maradona, to be honest.
Yeah. So the goalkeeping, I always have the view that goalkeepers are mad. And we used to stick a fella, it'd be the last pick, and you'd throw the fella in goals who kind of maybe not be the best. Why goalkeeping for you, Nicky?
I just like getting balls kicked straight into my nose and
so you are a bit mad.
Into the groin. There's nothing like the pain of a ball in the groin, I think, to be honest with you, right, and that saying of goalkeepers being mad has been around for eternity. Funny enough, I don't actually agree with it. I don't like when you look at it like that, of putting your head where people are putting their feet and stuff. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's just a bit of, that's courage. But at the same time, it's about reading the game. It's about reading the ball, and I always say goalkeeping. for me, you won't agree with this because you're one of those outfield players, but there actually is a difference between goalkeeper and outfield. What I mean by that is, to me, a goalkeeper is the most important position on the pitch. Now, you asked me a question, why goalkeeping? That wasn't why when I was 6 or 5. That was because my dad was a goalkeeper and he trained me in my back garden, ping a ball, showed me how to catch a ball, how to ping a ball. And we did a back garden and a shed behind us. So normal kind of whatever, 6x6 shed. And that was the goal, the width of the shed. And he would ping, he would start off by catching a ball and then he'd bounce balls in front of me. And I actually, at that age, I preferred being an outfield player because you get to score, you get to tackle, you get to celebrate. And then I remember going to the home farm mini leagues when I was 6, and I played outfield. And for some reason, I enjoyed it. But then the next year when I went back, my dad said to me, "Why don't you jump and go?" Because he trained me then for a year as a keeper. I don't know why, just because he was. Okay. And I went back and I played in the home farm mini leagues, which are gone now, which is a shame really because they were brilliant. And I had this moment, and it stands out weirdly. I had this moment. It was in like a semi-final of the mini leagues, and they got a penalty. And I was wearing, this will make you laugh, I was wearing BMX gloves, like white gloves with little dots that I got from Santa Claus, that from a part of BMX. And this guy, I just remember focusing on the ball. I remember getting, as he ran up to take the penalty, I remember getting kind of low on my toes like my dad had taught me, and watching that ball. And I didn't go early because, at that age of 6 and, you're not thinking of picking a side. I waited for the ball to be kicked and it went to my right. I saved it. It was a semi-final. The emotion and the hurrah from the team, from the manager, like, you don't save penalties really at 6. And we went on, and we won the mini leagues. We entered the final and we won the mini leagues. And that was it. That was the buzz, was from there. But I genuinely believe, and like I said, you won't agree, goalkeeper is the most important position on the pitch. I mean, you can do it out with striker. You can do it out with centre half. You can't do it out with goalkeeper. And outfield players don't get that. Like, they genuinely don't. And maybe we'll get onto it later on. But outfield players, and the world is made up of outfield players, and the management world is made up of outfield players, and they'll bollock goalkeepers for different things. And quite frankly, a lot of time they haven't a clue. They really haven't a notion. And I enjoyed playing outfield as well as in goal with my mates and in school, and so I'd be a half decent outfield player. Like, my touches go, passes go, all the tackling, all that. So with goalkeeping, then I think you have to have that nowadays, particularly. But you also have to think like a striker sometimes. You have to think in a split second what you might do. And that's where it came from. But the madness, I'm not one of those lunatic guys that
you're not mad, no.
You know what I mean? So I know goalkeepers who don't fit that bill, who are excellent goalkeepers.
I love the fact that you reference your dad so much growing up, and I know you were really close to him, Nicky, and the fact that as a kid he was the one who taught you first. I'm something similar now. My wee boy, playing football with him every day because that was the experience I had growing up as a kid. When it came around to moving to Leeds then, which was obviously a massive thing for you, just because a lot of the lads have it's something that the wider public overlook, but certainly from being in that kind of, with your family and your friends, moving away from home as a young Irish kid, and you've been so close to your family, just how hard was that, or what was the overriding emotion in terms of, I'm sure you were excited to sign for Leeds, but the wrench of leaving home so young as well?
Well, I think, you grew up, I guess, the same, wanted to play at the highest level, wanted to play for an English club, wanted to play for your country, wanted to win a World Cup. That was my dream. And we'd play 3 and in, I don't know what you called it in Sligo, but every day. World Cup, we called it World Cup too. And I used to commentate on games. I would record matches, fake matches on a tape recorder, and be the commentator. And I didn't stop wanting to be a footballer, and I had every jersey. I mean, I was a Manchester United fan, but I had every jersey. And, my first ever game was in 1986, Jack Charlton's first ever game, when my dad brought me in on the dart. I'd say there was about 10,000 people in Lansdowne Road for that game when Wales beat us 1-0 and stuff. So it was just football. And under 12, I know Alan maybe mentioned this as well. Under 12, we went to a tournament with Home Farm, and this was the big time. We went over as Home Farm Football Club, but we were playing against Ajax, PSV, Mechelen, Standard Liège, FC Cologne, and I ended up winning goalkeeper of the tournament with all those goals. I had a really good tournament. I did do very well, but was a buzz where getting up on that, you know, working your ass off, you know, winning the trophy and coming home at Dublin Airport where my mum and dad were waiting as a 12-year-old boy. And I still have the trophy. I had this goalkeeping bronze statue. And that was it. I just thought, right, I am going to keep this up now. I loved it. But everything was pointing. Everyone mentioned my height at that point. And I look back on old pictures now, and I'm exactly. I know my height exactly. I always say I'm 5'10", but I'm 5'9 3/4" exactly. And I know that because one, I've measured myself, but Leeds United measured me daily. You know, and I did everything from stretching out banisters and, you know, anything I could do, I did. And but anyway, to get to your point, a lot of the lads, as I started to move through home farm, then there was the DDSL selection under 13. Alan maybe mentioned going up to play against Man United up in Northern Ireland. I was in that squad. And then a year later, then it was the Kennedy Cup team. I didn't make the squad, but then the Dublin team got food poisoning and I got called in. I was obviously third choice and I got called in. But again, it was always height. Anytime a manager spoke to the DDSL manager or anybody, it was great. And I had this tagline of a great little keeper.
Yeah, great little keeper.
Yeah, and listen, that's a compliment. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's great to be great, isn't it? But if someone thinks that, but the height really annoyed me. You know, it was like I went to a doctor, funnily enough, at 14, and he got my mom's height and my dad's height, and he worked out what I was going to be.
Really? Yeah.
On a graph, and he said, "Yeah, I probably think you're going to be about 5'7", 6". I was like, "Oh, brilliant! That's thankfully I was a bit bigger than that."
But they were the lengths you were going to because that was obviously something that was concerning you, like.
Yeah, and then on the 15, so the first Ireland squad we had was they played. Squad was picked real quickly to play the under 14s. It was against Slovakia in the AUL, and I wasn't named in the squad. And I was absolutely devastated, like annoyed, devastated. The manager was Tommy Connolly, and my manager spoke to Tommy, and he went, "Yeah, he's just a little bit. He's on the smaller side." But what I could never get, right, and this might sound a little bit arrogant, but I would always like, small is one thing, but would you not go with your better? If I was the better option, would you not go with your better option? Like, are you going to just judge everything on height? That really pissed me off, you know. And then a year later, I worked my ass off. I got the chance again, went for the Irish trials, got in, maybe debuting at 15, and never looked back. Played 15, 16s, 18s. I broke my elbow a month before the European Championships, which was the biggest thing in my life. That was, you know, pardon me, dad passed away. That broke my heart because I had bad injury. I came back from Derby County on trial and went to a training session. We were playing Chile the next night, and it was the last 5 minutes of a training match. And Tommy, the man, the gaffer, Tommy Connolly, said to me, to me and Alan Maybe, we just flown in from Derby County, and he said, "Go on there. You guys don't need to. You're starting tomorrow. You don't need to go on, but if you want to go on, go on." But sir, if a gaffer says that to you, you're not going to go, "Ah, yeah, gaffer, yeah, we won't go on." So you go on to impress. Last 5 minutes, and Thomas Heary took a shot from about 20 yards, far top corner. I dived kind of that way, landed. I remember this feeling around my right arm of like somebody wrapping a load of elastic bands. It wasn't pain; it was more like a numbness and a tightness. Played on. The goal went. What annoyed me was the goal went in, and 5 minutes later, I thought, this isn't feeling right. And the game was finished. And the physio said, "Yeah, just leave it for me, put some ice on it." So I'm sitting there icing my elbow, and I'm getting these like darting pains. So anyway, takes the jersey off, looks a bit swollen. Dad was at the training session, and we drove into Beaumont Hospital and scanned my elbow. And he says, "Oh yeah, there's a little chip here. You're going to be out for about 2 weeks." I thought, well, that's not the end of the world. Missed the Chile game, but this was July, so it didn't really matter. Yeah. European Championships was September. And then I went back a week later to Ray Moran, who's now the knee specialist in Century. Yeah. Who's Kevin Moore's brother, lovely guy. He looks at the scans and he goes, "Right," he said, "when are you signing for Leeds?" And I was like, "What? I'm going to Leeds, like, you know, next year, next year." And he says, "Okay." He said, "We'll operate on you in the morning. We'll put 2 pins in." I was like, "What pins? Operation? What now?" Yeah. You know, that was I was out for about 4.5 months. Obviously, you know, wasn't in the Ireland squad for the Euros under 16, missed that, but thankfully, you know, got to Leeds. And then, you know, the Leeds thing was all the dreams come true. I got back to full fitness and, you know, went over there, and that was every dream come true then. You know, you signed. So I got over the disappointment by signing for Leeds United, and that was myself, Alan Mabry, Steve McPhail, John Butler, the 4 Irish lads that went over, and a bit like you, I guess, 2 years after me. You know, at that point, all your dreams have come true. The hard work starts then, but at that point, the dreams have come true. You know.
I think that's something that people don't realise, Nicky, though. Like, as you say, that dream comes true that you're moving over, but people then only see the fame, the career, the money, whatever that. But as you says, the hard work only begins, and it's a really, what I found as well, firstly was the homesickness I struggled with, and the second thing was it's a real ruthless industry. And if you're not performing, there's another fella there, the next fella. And I found, and I suppose it might be different for lads now in the world we live in, but it was really, really tough. The managers were tough, which I liked, and they demanded a lot from me, because I think that's gone out of the game now. It's a little bit soft, in my opinion, in certain aspects. But you, of course, had Paul Hart as your youth team coach, who's renowned for being tough.
Tough, or I could think of other words. But look, I love a challenge, right? Like I will give, when I get stuck in, everything, and I love my goalkeeping training. So this is where, again, to touch on the manager, the outfield versus the goalkeeper. So my goalkeeping coach when I went over was John Burridge, Budgie as a nickname.
Budgie, mad. No, he's mad.
Now Budgie is mad. He's one of those that goes in like, but lovely guy, great goalkeeper. About an inch, maybe an inch smaller than me, I would have said. Now maybe he shrank in his old age. I don't know. But then in my year 2 with a guy called Eric Steele. So Eric Steele went on to become Manchester United's goalkeeping coach up until very recent. I think until David De Gea signed, and then I think De Gea brought in his own Spanish coach or something. Which by the way, in itself shows you where the game has gone. A goalkeeper bringing in his own goalkeeping coach. I mean, it's just, anyway, that's a different thing. But so where I agree with you is I love the toughness of it. I don't mind actually getting a bollocking. Like, you know, you kind of, you take it, you don't agree with it in your head, or you might answer back or whatever. But to touch on, let's say, the Paul Hart situation, like, I would question Paul Hart as a manager, because now people love Paul Hart. Like, I listened to Alan Mabry, you know, last week. I love Al, by the way, so this is not criticism of Al. Al's ledge, right? And I played with Alan Mabry since I was 9. I was home farm since I was 6.
You've gone through a lot, in fairness.
He has, and Al was the best player at our age group. Like, there's no doubt about it. Every club in the country wanted Al. And there in itself is what I'm about to touch on. Like, you have, let's say, people like Alan Mabry didn't need to worry about Paul Hart. Like, people like Steve McPhail, who was like literally the best player a year below us, and he's a year younger than me. But we started at Leeds together. Like, Marco was golden boots, as was Alan Mabry, as was Harry Kewell. Me and Harry Kewell and Al Mabry, lived in digs together, and Harry, brilliant character. Like, you know, Harry was always going to make it. But there, you know, ticks the box of Paul Hart. Where Paul Hart for me falls down as a manager is not being able to deal with other players, to not being able to, like, a great manager for me is somebody who can put their arm around the player who needs the arm around them. Is a manager who manages people. Like, you know, so you might be the player that responds best to a bollocking. I might be the player that responds best to be told I'm brilliant every day, even when I was shit today. Yeah. You know, and that boy over there might be the player to put his arm down and go, you know, you're better than this. So that's management to me. Yeah. You know, that's a bit. And Paul Hart didn't have that, and he had it at a youth level because youth players were in fear. Do you understand what I mean? Youth player was, and that's why we had, Leeds had we had great players, obviously. With Jonathan Woodgate, Alan Smith, Harry Kewell, Alan Mabry, Steve McPhail, Ian Hart was a year above us, played a bit, with great players. But where I feel Paul Hart, if you look at his senior record, I mean, it's abysmal.
Terrible.
You know, it's absolute. Like, if you look at Notts Forest, I think he got sacked without a win. Swindon Town, he got relegated. Other clubs, Barnsley, I think he didn't win 11 games. And I always felt, and this isn't a character assassination of Paul Hart, but why I in that respect, kind of, the memory I have of Paul Hart was being always in fear of him, and always, I was a 16-year-old boy. My parents, Paul Hart flew to Dublin to meet my parents with the Leeds United chief scout, which was Eddie Beaglehole at the time. Yeah. And they sat in Dublin Airport, and the words they used to my parents, and I was 15, was, we have an uncut diamond. We just need to get him to Leeds and step it up now to Leeds United training, like 5, 6, 7, whatever it was, days a week. And my mum and dad were like, well, you know, he's got school, he's got this, he's got that. We need to leave. No, don't worry. Paul had brought me over to Howard Wilson, the gaffer at the time, and said, Gaffer, as he introduced me, and I was only 16, he said, look at his height, but do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. And I was like, these were things I was blown away by. But when I got to Leeds, this was all pre me signing, and then I signed for Leeds, and everything changed. Everything changed. You know, it was now. This goes on down the line of, as you touched on, you know, it's tough. It's a you know, man, it's a business. You're a number. And now I get that. But try tell that to a 15, 16-year-old who's going over there, who's going to take time to settle in, who's going to have bad training sessions, who's going to be homesick, who's going to pick up injuries because, you know, you're stepping up your training sessions. So in that respect, and the big thing for me, because I'm quite an honest person and I'm quite a loyal person. Paul Hart never said goodbye to me. He never wished me well. He never did any of those things.
Really?
Eddie Gray, Eddie Gray did. And maybe
I never dealt with Paul Hart, and I obviously would have dealt a lot with Eddie Gray, who I found brilliant. The only reason I'm going on about Hart a little bit is because, as you says, for all those reasons, Mabes, all the U team, Andy Reid was on here, had him at Forest, and they all rave about him. But you make a very fair argument for the other side of it, and I never knew there was that aspect where, if you felt he was telling you all this thing 3-4 weeks prior to you moving over, then you make the move, which is a huge move. What do you think changed in that time, Nicky? Or not specifically that 3 or 4 weeks, but just in terms of, did he feel, okay, we have him now? Because I often find they tell you everything to get you, but once they have you, then you just become...
Well, I think there's that, right? And I think it's also how you're playing, right? So I'm not going to back away from whether I was on form when I got to Leeds, or because as a footballer, you go through stages of being, you know, nothing can beat you as a goalkeeper, and then you go through stages where everything's beating you. And you know, like I said, outfield players will always, you know, and I feel for outfield players because, you know, I was using midfielder, you're box to box, you're defending, you're losing the ball, you're winning the back, and next of all a soft goal goes in, and you're going, and you're hammering. I get that, right? I get that. At the same time, you know, you're 1-0 up in a game, and, you know, the keeper's had nothing to do, and he's had to concentrate more than all of those outfield players together, and then makes it, whether it's a world-class save or either way, it's an important save to win the game. You know what I mean? So to answer your question about what changed, I'm not sure. I think it was that to get me there. I'm not saying every club in the world wanted me. They didn't. I had that height situation as a goalkeeper. I did go on trial to Derby County. I was supposed to go on trial to Everton and to Newcastle. In fact, I'd done an FAI goalkeeping school at the AUL under 14, I think it was, 15 maybe. And Neville Southall had flown over to do it with Jerry Payton. And I mean, Neville Southall, who was one of my heroes. Yeah. Couldn't get enough of me. Wanted to speak to my dad. Kept in touch. Sent me a jersey. Wanted me to sign for Everton. Put all the scouts in touch. Wow. And then in my honesty, when we had these conversations with Leeds, they were like, "Well, look, we're not getting into a Dutch auction here. You know, the contract's there if you want to. You know." And then you go, "Oh shit! Like, you know, I might lose out on this." Yeah. So, but I remember when I got to Leeds, I was doing okay. Pre-season had gone okay. First game of the season, we played Newcastle United away. We lost 4-3, and I wasn't at fault for any goals, but I do remember not coming off my line fast enough. Mark Jackson, you probably remember Jacko. Jacko was a centre half, great player, lovely guy. And I remember the ball getting played over the top, me kind of hesitating, him hesitating, and there was a bit of and they scored. And that's it, Paul Hart. You know, I'm not saying he judged it all in the first game, but there was definitely a difference. And look, Paul Hart's a winner, like, and I like that. He's like he's one, but he was 6'4", 5, and he, you know, I don't know why he wanted me so badly, and then just didn't want me so badly. I just could never get my head around it. But the big moment for me with Leeds was we two keepers, me and a guy called Simon Briggs. Yeah, Briggs is a good guy, right? And I started, and then then week 2, I got dropped, and Briggsy played. And I was like, well, is that it? Am I dropped after a game? Yeah. And then week 3, I played. And I remember I'm 16 and a half here. And I'm like, well, what did he just not fancy me for the second game and then not fancy Briggsy for the third game? Or is he just alternating us? I don't understand why he didn't actually just sit down with us and go, lads, I'm going to alternate this for a while. See how that would be the logic way. If maybe it wasn't, maybe he felt we were pushing each other. And then 4 weeks in, what's great about being a goalkeeper, which outfield players don't get, is I trained with the first team from 16 because the first team would do shooting practice. So not John Lukic, Mark Beanie with the first team, and then Nigel Martin signed. And then so they'd have those keepers when they're doing shooting practice with the full squad. They grab the U team keepers in as well to give the first team keepers a bit of a rest. So there'd be 5 keepers rotating for the shooting. And I was on fire. Like I was pulling saves from McAllister and Speed and Yeboah and really and I was buzzing because these lads were, I was watching these on Match of the Day 3 weeks ago.
Of course, yeah.
And now you're doing okay, So that famous season where Yeboah scored that goal off the crossbar against Liverpool. I know Mabes touched on that. So that was our first home game or second home game of the season, having gone to Leeds. And then a game or two later, Mark Beanie had been sent off in a reserve game. And Paul Pettinger was the reserve keeper, or let's say the 20-year-old keeper. I was 16, he was 20, Beanie was reserve, then Lukic. And Pet was gone out on loan to Rotherham for a month. So Beanie gets sent off in a reserve game and he's suspended. And then Pet's gone on loan for a month. They can't get him back for one game. So all of a sudden I'm in the first team squad. And I remember it was meant like to this day, I was of all that, and I still say it to Mabes, I was the first out of our U team, out of all those, Keelan, Woodgate, to get into the first team squad, right? So 16 and a half, I got called in for Paul Hart, and I thought, I'm getting here for another bollock, and here we go again. I'm only here 3 weeks, and I'm getting sacked. So he calls me in, but no, there was no like, how you feeling? It was like, first team, you're in the first team squad, first team need a keeper. Go down and see the kit man, and he'll get you your first team tracksuit because it was different to the U team. I was like, huh. And he went, yeah, they're keeper suspended. Go down and see Sean, which was the kit man. So I went down to Sean, and he's printing off Burn 36 with the Premiership badges. I'm like, is this a joke? But I was in the squad. Like I was down. I was told I was sent home to rest, and then to meet up with the first team squad. We travelled down to Southampton, 6 hours on a bus, and I was sitting on the bus with. So I'm Gary Kelly's boot boy, and I'm now sitting with him. So Kel's, as you know, absolute diamond, and he's looking after me, And I'm ringing my mum my dad from the payphone in the hotel when we get to Southampton, and I'm going because there's no mobiles. It's and this is a different world. Like if this was now, you'd have all the I'd be Instagramming it, you'd be chatting to your mates, you'd be you'd be texting, and all I have now is when you're this, my auntie recorded BBC CFAX of like 16-year-old Nicky Byrnes on the bench for Leeds United.
CFAX, thank you.
Yeah, and Airtel, and that's all I have. And the Yorkshire Evening Post put on, obviously put a picture of me in the paper and put it on the picture in that I was on the bench. So I get called into the squad, travel down, and I always remember traveling to the game then. And Howard Wilson bringing me up, hey Gia, we're on Instagram Live. You say hello? You okay? Yeah, just give us a sec, baby. You okay? Okay. So where was it? Yeah, so Howard Wilson calls me up into the front of the bus and goes, are you ready if we need you? Are you ready tonight? And I was like, and your heart is saying, or your brain is saying, absolutely no chance, but then you go, yeah, Gaffer, no problem. They had like Matt Letizia, Anyway, look, didn't get to play. Lucas played, obviously, and we drew 1-1 in that game. But that was huge. Like in a Premiership squad at 16, that's one of the biggest things I've ever done.
And what was he like, Howard Wilkinson? And another thing, Nicky, the stuff with Paul Hart, you mentioned there, it was all business with him. So it was just like, look, you're in the first team squad, away you go, down get the jersey. So was there never that human element there? Did you ever go to him and kind of question as to why you being like this, or why you being tough, or that just wasn't on the cards?
Well, it wasn't just me. You see, like I didn't feel like it was just me. It was everybody. Like, and that was the big thing. So, sorry, we'll take Gia down, baby. Sorry, Gia's doing TikToks behind us. She's gonna knock it over.
Get her on.
So, but it wasn't just me. You see, and I guess like we all were in fear of him. But it was easier for a Steve McPhail and a Jonathan Woodgate and a Harry Kewell and maybe because they were super footballers. You can't take that away from them. But they could do no wrong, I suppose I was jealous of that a little bit. I needed my manager to support me more because I was 16. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes it good, because he couldn't get into and it shows in his first team management. You can't bully you're not saying bully, sorry, that's a big word. You can't shout at the first team players like you can with the U team. You can't get the same results from that fear. But he got the results. He won the Youth Cup. We won the league. Maybe the strongest survived. I don't know. Maybe you can look at it like that.
There is that element to it. So then I suppose, Nicky, after all that, when your time was coming towards an end with Leeds, how did that make you feel? And I know obviously you're a football mad. You were back then as a young fella. It's tough to come home. I was in a similar situation. You come home. Obviously things have worked out pretty okay for you. But just in terms of coming home from that and you not knowing then where your next move is, or I suppose the emotions that you were going through then, how tough was that? As you say, you were only 17, 18, 19.
I don't know if any other player who comes home says this, but I hated football. Absolutely. I'd fallen out of love with it. I played in Paul Hart really wanted to win the FA Youth Cup. And in my second year there, I went back, and when I say I was on fire, I was on fire. And I think I had 9 clean sheets in the first 13 games before Christmas. There was no alternating. It was me. Paul Robinson was coming up behind me, a year below me. He was training with us every day, etc. But Paul Robinson was 6'4", and he could throw the ball as far as I could nearly kick the ball. And that's where I had an issue, because I would have rated myself as a better goalkeeper than Paul Robinson, but I was 5'9" and he was 6'4", and I played in an FA Youth Cup game in Ellen Road against Sheffield Wednesday, and my dad had flown over for the game. We really, we were a great Leeds team, and we went 1-0 up, and Harry Kewell and Andy Wright did this celebration in the corner flag, where they pretended there was a golf flag, and he put the flag, and Wright and Eddie Gray and Paul Hart were caning them, to kind of get back in your mind, back on the game. But anyway, just before halftime, maybe 10 minutes before halftime, they equalised. Nothing to do with me. It might have even been Richie Humphries who scored. He went on to play for Sheffield Wednesday, but they got a free kick about 40 yards out, pretty central. I lined up the lads up, kind of not a wall now, just on my back four up on the 18-yard line or so, and he clipped it up until the penalty spot, and I came out, and we always play with very fast wingers. We played with Wes Boyle on the right, we played with either Harry or Andy Wright on the left, and the big thing was, Nicky, if you catch it from that side, we release the right winger, we switch to play with, and vice versa. And I don't know, I mean, this might sound like, I don't know if I saw, as soon as they heard a keeper shout, they were nearly peeling away. And so this was a straightforward, clipped in, it was a wet night, but the ball, as I went up on the penalty spot, like everybody nearly ducked for me coming out as keepers do, slips through my hands, which is a schoolboy error. This wouldn't have happened to me since I was probably 8 or 9. Slips through, like as I catch it here, right behind me. I always think Woodgate could have got me out of jail, and he miskicked it. Anyway, Wednesday score, and we go back 2-1. We get in the dressing room, and there's bottles of Lucasade flying off the wall. There's, Harty's lost it, and I'm trembling, like absolutely trembling. And I didn't even want to go back out for the second half. I didn't know how. My dad had flown for the game, and I thought, Jesus, this is bad. Anyway, we drew 2-2, and I got dropped for the replay in Hillsborough, and Robbo played, not even Briggsy, and that was it. Robbo took over from then, and I played one more game. That was in, I think, December or November, and then I was released in the May, and I played one more game as a kind of token game against Hartlepool away. But yeah, so that was it's a dog eat dog cutthroat game, but that was I was in fear. So I hated the game. I felt like a failure coming home, but I hated football. I hated it. Like, I signed for Shells. I had no interest. I went to Cove Ramblers. I was only 19, so Cove were in the first division, and they needed a keeper. I was going to be second choice at Shells because Alan Goff was there. But a keeper usually kind of blossoms late, if at first team level. And I went to Cove, but no, my heart wasn't in it then,
Okay, it's sad, yeah, and it's bad form from Paul Harty. He never said goodbye to you as well. I think that's shocking, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I did think that, and Alan, sorry, Eddie Gray, he did. He, in fairness to
Eddie was
Eddie,
a brilliant fella.
brilliant, and he called me and said, "What are you going to do? What's your plan?"
Yeah,
And I didn't know. I just said, "I want to go home." You know, I did the aptitude test for the guards, played League of Ireland, and I thought to myself, well, there's a good living, League of Ireland footballer, hopefully,
yeah.
and become a cop. In the meantime, because my dad was a singer, I'd been, presenting. Well, I came home, I bought it with money from Leeds. I bought a karaoke machine. I started gigging with my dad, and started entering competitions, and then the audition for Westlife, and that's how the Westlife thing took off.
Okay, yeah. As I say, you done okay, Nicky, but
Yeah,
through
did
the
all right.
Westlife
Did all
team,
right.
yeah, through the West, I'm sure Paul Hart. Have you ever seen him now? Have you ever seen him since?
No. Look, I don't want to absolutely cane him too much.
Yeah, I know
At
that.
the end of the day, he was a very good U team manager that won everything around him with Leeds. I just felt, I guess they're very impressionable years of your life.
Yeah,
And okay, put it to my two boys who were 13 last week. Both play Gaelic, one plays soccer, play for it is Rocco's playing for St. Kevin's Bows on the 13 level. Would I let either of them go and start an apprenticeship with an English team abroad, foreign country? I'm not so sure. And maybe it's different nowadays, Al, because they don't do jobs and they don't the jobs is a different thing, as in like cleaning boots and stuff. But you'd be able to keep in regular contact with them more, or like at 16, you're still going through puberty. You're still,
yeah,
mental health is a big thing for all
yeah,
kids, and it's only becoming to fruition now. So
yeah,
I think you need, coaches who are your friend, as in encouraging daily, even if you're shit. You
yeah,
need that.
yeah. Of
I
course.
think that's what's going to get the best out of you.
I think I'm glad you brought up the lads, because that was one of the questions. I know the young fella's playing with St. Kevin's and Bowes and that. And would you seriously think now, Nicky, from your experience, you would question letting him go now if the offer came in the next 2 or 3 years for him?
I think you'd have to look at it seriously.
Yeah,
Maybe it's different with phones. Maybe it's different that you can speak to them regularly. Or maybe there's when I went in '95, there wasn't £20 flights from Ryanair over to Leeds. It was a
yeah,
big deal, and I got home 6 times a year. Obviously, it felt like I was a different country, even though it was an hour flight. It might as well have been LA. You know what I mean? There was no WhatsApp, Instagram Live, FaceTime, mobiles. There was none of that, and we'd strict rules. We'd be in bed at 10 o'clock every night. Where we lived in Wetherby. Well, the first year we lived in Roundhay, which is a big, beautiful house. 10 of us in the house with the lads who were looking after us. But year two, we were out to Thorpe Arch, which was
yeah,
probably where you started. And I hated that. That was like being in prison. In fact, there's a prison right across the road.
yeah.
You
We
know what I
used to.
mean? And I felt like I was doing time. I felt like I'm getting on the pitch and I'm being bollocked every day. I'd be in bed at 9 o'clock every night. And I was just a bit more sociable than that. Maybe a different club could have been different, and definitely if I was a bit taller, maybe I would have played that little bit more. And I do remember one thing. I remember getting dropped out of the Ireland squad at under 18 level and this is to give you an example of, say, someone like Al Maybe's experience of U team football versus
Yeah,
mine. So we travelled over to Norway to play a playoff game under 18 for the European Championships. And I was playing. I was in good form. I was playing pretty well. I was in being picked for Leeds at Cloyes. And we trained. We met up in Croydon in London for a week's training, or 5 days training with Brian Kerr. He was our gaffer. We were the first Irish U team he took over, and we did 3 or 4 days training. Flew to Norway or Portugal. We did a tournament in Portugal first against Portugal, Russia, and France, and then we flew maybe a month later to the playoff game against Norway. And all of a sudden, I wasn't picked for the game, and so we were sent to bed for the afternoon before the game in the evening. And I'm rooming with Al, and I'm devastated. But look, it is what it is. It's Ireland, and it wasn't picked to start. So I'm in the room, and I said, "What do you think I should do?" And Al was like, "Honestly, you're 19 now. You need to go and knock on the manager's door." And I'm like, that's not me necessarily. When I was like, "You sure?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "You're not being nasty. You're not being rude. You're a man now.
yeah,
Now, remember, Alan Maybe's our captain, right? So and has been our Irish captain and a Leeds captain for and home firm's captain for the last 10 years of my life. And I'm going, yeah, maybe I was right. Maybe this is a bit of growing up. Maybe you need to knock on Brian's door. So I knew it wasn't going to change to start, but I guess the right way to approach was, well, if I knock on the door and get his opinion, I'll know where why I didn't get picked. So I went down like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're leaving the hotel at 6 or something, and knock on the door, and I hear hello, and I went there. Sorry, Gaffer, it's just Nicky here. Just wonder if I could have a word with you. And he says, yeah, sure. So I come into his room, sit down, and say, listen, totally, real respectful, really respectful, totally understand your decision. Respect your decision. Just wondering from me moving forward from my game, where do you think I went wrong or anything like that? And he says, oh, well, look, he said, I just think this game is going to be quite physical. I think the Norwegians are all 6. Now, the keeper he picked was a guy called Paul Whelan, great keeper. He was at Oxford United. But he wasn't much bigger than me. Like, you know what I mean? He was a bit broader. He was probably 5'11". So I was like, okay, well, fair enough. Okay. So I accepted that, felt good about myself that I had a reason, even though I probably didn't agree with it. Went back. We won the game 2-1 away, which was a great result because we were losing 1-0. And about a week or so later was the second leg back in Talca Park. And I'm back in my digs, and I get an order to come down to see Paul Hart. And he calls me in and he says, you're not in the Irish squad. I was like, what do you mean? Now, with respect, Al, I had not been in Ireland squad since I was 15.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? And he said, oh, there's a squad. And I thought it was a mistake. So payphone phone my mum. She got the squad in the paper and called it out to me, and I wasn't in it. And it was the keepers were always first. So it was Paul Whelan and this guy called James Gallagher. Never heard this guy in my life. Who's James Gallagher? I was thinking, this the granny rule at 18. What's happening? So anyway, we had a U-team game against Tranmere in Prenton Park. Macca scored a penalty. We won 1-0. And after the game, Brian Kerr was at the game, and he came up to me and he said, oh, by the way, he said, I didn't pick you for the second leg. And I went, yeah, I heard. My mum told me. She saw it in the paper. And he went, oh, yeah, he said, Packy Bonner wants to have a look at this guy, James Gallagher, who's at Celtic. He's only 16 or 15.
And he was picked in the squad?
Like, he was picked in an under 18 squad to go in, right, over me. And then anyway, I went to see the games. I went home, saw the game as a fan. And that was my last ever. I never got into an Irish squad again. And I can tell you now, that was, in my opinion, that was nothing to do with Packy Bonner. That was because I questioned Brian Kerr on the first. So if Alan Mabry had gone in and questioned the gaffer, do you think he wouldn't even have lost the armband? Never mind getting dropped out of the squad. So I went in. I blame Mave's advice. Yeah, I do. That's what I blame. I blame Maves and Paul Hart on Westlife. Without them two, there'd be no Westlife.
Look, you've been brilliant with your time, Nicky. I'm going to just touch on the soccer aid stuff, if you wouldn't mind. And the fans are caning me here for not asking you questions as well. So we'll do 2 hours. I have 5 or 6 questions from the fans as well. But just on the soccer aid stuff, Nicky, obviously the whole Westlife team takes off. You've massive success with the lads. Everything's going brilliant for you after the football stuff. But then, of course, back to your first love. The soccer aid stuff starts and you get to play with all these superstar footballers. And I'm only looking at it today. I think the first one was in 2006, but you played in 2008. I think you've only missed one since then. And you played in them all. You've scored winning goals, penalties. So you've had an unbelievable experience in playing in that. Yeah. So just I suppose is it the next best thing to get to train with these lads? And obviously you were a full-time footballer yourself. So to go in now and prepare for these games, play in front of 80,000 Old Trafford, must be some experience.
Do you know, when you look at it, I always think this, I've had 2 football lives, if you don't know. I actually had a real football life from, signing for Leeds and etc., leading the Premiership squad like we discussed, and all of that, and then it stopped and music took over. But because of the music, then, you get picked for things like soccer aid. In 2006, we were actually on tour and I couldn't play. So I started in 2008. And when I was asked to play in 2008, I said, look, see, goalkeeping is such a specialised position. You need to be training regularly. You need to keep that sharpness. Your hands need to be good. And I hadn't played in years. So I kind of thought to myself, well, I'll play outfield. Oh, baby. There's a B. Al, there's a B. What are we going to do?
I don't know what we're going to do. Gee, sort it out.
We're getting Paul Hart after him.
Text Maves to see what he would do.
No, Maves will have the armband. The bee be afraid of Maves. He won't be back. Give us a sec, baby. I have to answer this question. So, yeah. So then you get this amazing opportunity to play Soccer 808, and I said, look, I'd like to play outfield, knowing that I could hold my own in a charity match, let's say. And I trained hard for it. I really got myself super fit. And the rest of the world, what's great is being not English, is that you play for the rest of the world. So you're with every other nationality in the world, bar England, obviously. So I played in that game. I played with Figo, with the Canio, just some great players. I think Yap Stam might have played that game. And then every 2 years I was called back. The only other one I didn't play was 2012 because you're on the farewell. But I was doing that list of players I've played with over the years, and it's like Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldinho, Romario.
I have them written down here, Nicky.
Yeah, there you go. Like,
and there's some names.
It's on the list. Somebody asked me last week on Facebook when all the football stuff was going around, was name your best ever team you've played with. And like, people obviously are playing, like yourself, you'd name all of the players you played with at Leeds, at League of Ireland, wherever. And I was going, well, you'll have to wait a minute here, because I've actually played with these superstars like Zidane, Figo, Ronaldinho, Romario, like Robbie Keane, Berbatov. It's just been non-stop over that 10 years, so it's been incredible.
Yeah, the names are unbelievable, Nicky. And I am going to ask you to name a five-a-side, so we'll find out some of those names in a wee while. But just on a couple of questions. Clona Buckley sent one in. Name 5 sports stars that you would love to have a night out with. Now, you've out with a few of them already, but they can be alive or dead. 5 that you would love to have a night out with.
Oh, alive or dead. Diego Maradona was somebody I've always wanted to meet and never did. So that would be incredible. Like, he was great. Errol, I'm not sure. It looks like we're losing you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Al? No. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, Maradona would be one. My biggest big fan of Roy Keane. You still there?